So this is a driving video on the 1999 Ford Explorer Sport Edition. I'm going to get going because I'm off the side of the road. I had to reposition the camera. Wasn't really doing what I wanted it to do. So if you're kind of clanking and all, you know, sorry about that ahead of time. So options this came with, since it's the Sport Edition, is it's a two-door, so, you know, already it's better somehow. But it's got a disc player and a cassette player, which is nice. Only bad part about that is that it gets confused sometimes. So, with the new exhaust, as you can tell, it's a little bit louder when you're opening her up on the highway here. I really do enjoy that every time I go out driving this, even though this is my daily. Only bad things I can complain about with that new exhaust is when it's really cold, it sounds kind of Ricer-esque, where it's like, it sounds like really, I don't know, it's just, you know, it just when it warms up, it sounds a lot better like it does now. So features this came with was it's got a 5-speed automatic instead of normal 4 speeds and lower trim 4 doors. So that's really nice. But to be honest, the overdrive gear, which is 5th gear, isn't exactly the best. So if I want to go 75 because it's 70 on the interstate around here, especially in Wisconsin, and people like to go faster around here, I don't know why, it's just the way it is. It tends to hang around 2,500 RPM, which doesn't sound terrible, but when you're in a V6, it eats up a lot of gas, surprisingly. But it's not terrible. I still get 23 miles of the gallon when I'm doing that with the new intake. What also is really nice about this vehicle is that even though, okay, it only seats 4, which is really bizarre. There's only 2 back seats and the 2 front seats here, but they're bucket seats. So the 2 front seats are bucket seats, and the back 2 seats are more of like a lounging seat because they're not exactly a bucket. But it is decent for how small this vehicle is once you actually get to know it. As you can hear, it's a pretty decently, it's a good sounding engine. Some of my friends actually think it was a V8 at first when I first modded this. So I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but they get really surprised when I say it's a V6. It's got quite a bit of torque for the size of the motor. Since it's only 210 horsepower but 255 pound-feet of torque, that's pretty good for a vehicle that weighs 3,500 pounds-ish, give or take a couple hundred. Some people really think it's kind of a strange vehicle, and I don't know, and people wonder why I like it so much. Well, it's just you don't see that many 2-doors around anymore, especially in this good a shape. But like I said, it's not that loud once you get cruising. There's a hawk. Other features it has that the driver's seat is the only one that has motorized seats. But back in '99, this was kind of a big deal. They are leather seat, well, fake leather seats. They're actually pretty comfortable, surprisingly. This did come in a manual, but the manual one was either a 4x4 or it had the overhead valve 4-liter V6 instead of the side overhead cam V6 like we have in here. The benefits of that manual was it was a 5-speed, but that it was torqued, the first 2 gears were torqued pretty low. So let's say you did want to race this, or you're just trying to have some fun with friends, is that you could just launch this vehicle and it was pretty ridiculous. But the only downsides were that overhead valve 4-liter V6 only had 160 horsepower and 230 pound-feet of torque. I believe the pound-feet of torque was only 230. But anyway, compared that to like some V8s of the same era, the 5.0 that came in the Eddie Bauer edition of this, which everyone thinks is the best thing ever, only had 5 more stock horsepower than this V6 and 5 pounds of torque less than this V6. So actually this V6 technically outperformed that Eddie Bauer edition. But it's only a 2-wheel drive. But this 2-wheel drive is a posi, which is pretty nice. And who doesn't love the sound of American muscle coming out of a V6? I know I do. But yeah, some other features of this truck is it's got a rear defroster, which I believe most of them came with that. Fog lights. I know some of the 4-doors did not come with fog lights. And what else? I'm not exactly sure what else the other 4-doors didn't come with, since I've never been in 2-door. Oh, it has power mirrors. That's what I forgot. So around town, this truck's actually pretty nice because it's so skinny. Surprisingly, it's a pretty skinny truck. The only negative is, like, if you take a corner somewhat hard, it does have quite a bit of body roll, and that's what everyone believes, is that these things tipped over so easy because of the skinnier stance, which isn't completely true. This does have quite a bit of body roll, but I've never feel like if I took a corner a little bit too hard, it was going to flip on me. But that might be just me. I don't know. But this could be an easy fix if you just widen the wheelbase with some wheel spacers, which actually I think would look a lot better, or just put wider rims and tires on here. So, I mean, it's not like it's the end of the world. This truck also doesn't really tow that much, but considering it's the Sport Edition, it's designed more for comfort and sport, kind of like a weekend cruiser. So the back leaf springs are only a single really thick leaf spring, which they're not terrible, but mine are also original, and so are the shock absorbers. So I'm going to have to be getting some new ones here. Where I turn on the fog lights. Well, I sometimes take this on my local, we call it the Strip here in my town. What it is basically is just the highway, but it's in the middle of town. Well, middle of the busiest part of town. And on Friday nights, we like to race from stoplight to stoplight. And this has beat some, kids in Honda Civics, and I beat a turbo Subaru, which I really don't know how that happened, but it did. I just guess naturally aspirated is best. I don't know. But I believe with the new cold air intake and a different muffler that, relieves some of the stock features of it's not as powerful if there's not much air going into it, not as much exhaust going out. I think I've kind of made it a little better. I think I want to say 300 foot-pounds of torque, but I can't say that to be sure. I haven't dynoed it. But it does seem a lot easier to get off the line, so that's nice. This truck is also really smooth acceleration. Not like it's choppy when you shift. It doesn't lurch back and forth with some of those older automatics. When I mean older automatics, I'm talking about, like, my grandpa had a OEM Chevy Silverado. Oh, here's another Explorer up here. He had a Chevy Silverado, and it would just, jerk around when you would shift, because the automatics back in the 90s weren't exactly the epitome of an automatic. I don't know. It's just all the automatics I've faced from the same era have been a lot more jerky, but also have a lot more miles on it, so. As you can hear, it's kind of bouncy, especially with the tripod, which I've tried to get it to be quiet. There, nice spider. Because it's not really meant for. Okay, it does in-town driving pretty nice. It's just really meant for highway. I've put 6,000 of my own highway miles on this thing, basically. I don't really like driving in town because, like, there are too many curves and stuff. I just want to go on a nice straight line. But you really don't see some of these two-door Explorers. That's why I want to make a video about it. Especially here in Wisconsin, a lot of the Explorers I see are 4-doors because everyone wants the 4-wheel drive or just a bigger one to hold all their kids. So, yeah. But what I do see is actually a lot of two-door Blazers, which I found very interesting. I would think you would see more four-door Blazers too, because if there's four-door Explorers, there'd be four-door Blazers, but they're the off-roading package, so I don't know. But what I really like about this vehicle is just how smooth it is for the age. It's like they don't build vehicles like this anymore. I really wish they would. It's body on frame. I can still get up and go on a dime. It's no stranger to a little bit of speed. But yeah, let me know if you want to see more about this Explorer. I mean, I'm going to undercoat it because the winter in Wisconsin is really bad and salty, and I don't want things to rust out. So, also a different thing I found out about this is, so my buddy has a Ranger of the same year, and he's got rear drum brakes. This has all rotors, all round disc brakes. It's got disc brakes. I thought this would definitely have drum brakes in the rear, but I guess it doesn't. Sorry if the camera's a little shaky. I don't have the best kind of equipment for this. Yeah, this is a really comfortable riding vehicle for the age, and just a good all-around vehicle. I sometimes go to car shows. I get questions. I don't actually participate. I just drive around, and I'll drive at the edge car show and get parked. And like, are you part of the car show? I'm like, no. They're like, really? I've never seen a two-door Explorer before. I'm like, really? And these people that are older than me, and you would think they would know because they've been around longer. They're probably there for the commercials. I wasn't even alive when the commercials came out for this thing. But yeah, so if you've ever known anyone with a two-door Explorer, ask them if they got the overhead valve V6 or the side overhead cam V6, because either way, it's a good motor. This, I believe, in my personal opinion, the side overhead cam V6 is the better of the two. My grandpa's buddy has a Ranger with the overhead valve, and he says it doesn't have a lot of torque like this one does, because he had an Explorer with the same engine but different year. So yeah, in his opinion, this is also one of the best. But yeah, but it can I never did a video on it because I never thought to do it when I did it, but I did have this straight piped for a while before I got the exhaust on here. And it actually sounded kind of diesel-ish. It was really strange because you don't expect to hear that coming out of a gas engine, let alone a V6. And it's not a super high displacement compared to other vehicles. But yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with this truck. I'm going to keep it forever, or as long as I can. I intend to keep it as long as I can. But yeah. I just think it's really fun. I mean, you don't see a lot of it. I've seen one other one like this. It's blue, but it's a 2003 model year, so it's different. It's got different grille and headlight and everything. But basically the same. It's just I like the body style of the 99. From 94 or 5, I believe, to 99. Because they're a little bit more curvy-ish, and they're their own kind of style. That's what I like. Yeah. Oh yeah, like I said in the other one, it has a mechanical throttle body, so what you're hearing is if it revs up and revs back down is because it's really hard to get used to a mechanical throttle body if you've never driven one. When I was actually driving my mom's truck before I had this, it was when I had my Temps, so, and she drives an 09 Silverado, so I went from really soft, squishy pedal to this. I mean, I've gotten pretty used to this. It's just trying to keep it, because basically I can go 40 on like 1/16th of a throttle pedal, like 1/16th from the floor. It's just ridiculous. So I kind of have to rev up and rev down because people don't go the same speed. It's just, yeah. Well, that's what I really like. It's not electronic like some of the other crap. I prefer a mechanical over electronic any day. But yeah. What I found out with like this new muffler is that I've had it on here since basically the 3rd week I got this truck. So I've had this truck for 7 months now. So yeah, it's a good setup for this truck because it can breathe a lot better basically with new mufflers. Not with new mufflers, just mufflers in general. Is that so? The analogy I was always told is that if you take in a really deep breath, exhale half of that, and try to do it and take a deep breath again, that's what your car feels like for trying to pump out the exhaust, because it's so constrained that it can't breathe. So that's why I put the new muffler on there and the new intake, because I really want my engine to breathe, because it theoretically should last longer if it can breathe more. So, sorry if the camera's really bouncy. Like I said earlier, I don't have the best equipment for this. I have it strapped into the seat, but with an older vehicle like this, it's not the best suspension in the world, but it gets the job done. I mean, it's not a luxury vehicle or anything. I mean, back in the day, this thing cost from $23,000 all the way to $30,000, depending on engine and other features you had in here. But yeah, I'm just surprised more people didn't take this vehicle advantage of it, because I mean, if other vehicles lasted this long, everyone would be driving them. But I've seen a couple of these vehicles with the same engine for sale on Craigslist around here, and the one I found had 245,000 miles on it on this 4-liter V6, and I thought that was pretty good for something they drove all the time. And I mean, 245,000 miles, that's quite a bit. I only have 90,613 right now, but I also got this from an older gentleman who would pull boats with this. I don't know how he pulled the boats he had with this, but he did. And yeah, I really kind of disapproved of that, because these transmissions weren't the best. It's one of the only downsides of this. They weren't the best transmissions, and this guy was pulling heavier boats with this thing, and the leaf springs weren't meant for it, so it was kind of under strain. The only thing I haul is my little utility trailer with this, but yeah. So, if you guys enjoy the video, let me know. I'll try to do more of these, because I'm gonna, like I said, in the future, I'm gonna try to do more things with this. Especially, I'll let you know how longevity-wise. I mean, I got it when it was 19 years old, and now it's 20 years old. But it's pretty low mileage, so we'll see how far she can go on pretty original stuff. I'm going to try to keep her original as possible, other than, like I said, the muffler and the intake, because I kind of deem those as necessary for me. Most people really don't, though. They tend not to care about vehicles that are weird and are kind of what's the word, quirky? Yeah, quirky vehicle, because like I said, I don't see many of these around, and they built quite a few of these, surprisingly. And I wish the stupid tripod would stop making a weird sound. But yeah, if you enjoyed the video, let me know. I'm about to wrap it up here because I got some errands to do on this side of town. And well, see you guys next time.